these shows that feel like they came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, they have to live up to coming so out of somewhere. And I think that's a really tricky trap for most shows. Like, every morning I wake up and the first thing I think is, oh no, Heated Rivalry Season 2.
Hello, I'm so excited that we are here to talk about what was my #1 show of 2025 and is returning in 2026 because sometimes TV can be TV again. We are here to talk about Season 2 of The Pitt. I am Kathryn VanArendonk. I am a critic at Vulture, and I am joined by these lovely people to talk about the premiere of Season 2.
I'm Jackson McHenry. I am a critic at Vulture as well.
I'm Alison Willmore. I am a film critic, but I do also sometimes watch TV, mostly when it's The Pitt.
Imposter.
I'm Rebecca Alter. I'm a staff writer, not a critic, so it's like, you're the attending. I'm a patient. I'm a patient of television.
You're at least an R2.
At least.
Also, Rebecca, you are the popcorn critic.
This is true.
Oh, right, I'm a critic now.
Yeah, there's some other lore. She has a whole side thing going on outside of the hospital.
So that's like being a dentist.
No. I want to know just first of all, like how you guys are all feeling about this season, because I feel like I came into it wanting specific things out of this season, but I don't know if the things that I wanted are what everyone wanted. What did you want out of this?
Oh, well, and I'm very curious
what
to know
did
what
you
you
want?
wanted. I will say,
You came with
yeah,
an agenda.
yeah, I will say, like, I really, really enjoyed the first season of this episode, or of this show, because in part because actually I wanted nothing from it. Like, I went into it being like, oh, it's a medical show, but it's like a kind of like, it's got a bit more of a sheen. But like, the thing I did not want was for it to be like, this is a 15-hour movie. You know, like like your classic, like, this is so in pursuit of prestige that it does nothing that I want from television.
100%.
And so like, I loved the fact that it was like still largely a kind of old school, like kind of like a medical procedural workplace, you know, a little preachy sometimes, you know, a little busy with like all of the kind of like interpersonal issues that happen. I loved all of that actually, because I think there was something about it that just felt so satisfyingly old school, even if it was in this different format. So that is what I want from this, is I want it to keep that same mix of like, you know, propulsive action, also like slightly clumsy sometimes, like, and giving me all the goods, even if it feels a little too much for a one day at work of like all of the interpersonal stuff.
Yeah. I really was thinking about the second season trap of TV. Second seasons are really, really hard because, particularly when a first season is so big like this one was, because everyone comes into it thinking like, I know this show, I love this show, it has to be all of the things that I loved from the first season. But we all know that if it tries to chase the same model, the same formula, like exactly of what they did in the first season, then everyone's like, it was just like that, but worse. Like, it felt so much more fresh and interesting. And so I was thinking a lot about the real challenge of like needing to be super familiar and give you all the things you want, but then kind of deliberately having to give you things that maybe you don't want or you don't realize that you want, so that it can do a different thing. So it's like, all right, like what kinds of ongoing cases are we going to have? Are they going to do another mass casualty? How are they going to create tension? And I think really importantly, as I'm looking at a picture of Dr. Robbie looming at me, like, how are they going to give us more of that central character without just doing the same thing again? You're like, okay, he's warm and fuzzy, I got it. Like, how are they going to change that?
One of my not favorite things about season 1 was the way that they depicted and handled his like grief and the loss of his mentor and the COVID flashbacks. It just wasn't. I know his breakdown is a real highlight for a lot of people. Not my favorite element of the show, and so I'm excited to see what they do. Like, they've got the COVID thing maybe out of their system, and how they'll move on with that. And also, yeah, the other thing about shows having sophomore slumps is it's not just that everything's fresh and new, but these shows that feel like they came out of nowhere. Season 2, they have to live up to coming so out of somewhere. And I think that's a really tricky trap for most shows. Like every morning I wake up and the first thing I think is, oh no, heated rivalry season 2. Oh no.
I mean, me too, but for other reasons. But I mean, now Dr. Robbie is riding a motorcycle, which I feel like was a very efficient way to kick off his sort of dynamic for the second season.
Yeah.
Riding a motorcycle through the most green-screened version of Pittsburgh.
I believe they were actually shooting on a
Really?
bridge. Yes, I believe they were
Okay.
shooting on a bridge. And if you go back, there is a almost identical shot of somebody riding in a motorcycle over that bridge at the beginning of season 1. So they are deliberately calling back to that. But I do think we have to talk about the motorcycle because, like, what's going on with Robbie and this motorcycle, man?
Why is he not wearing a helmet?
That's
Yeah.
a doctor's number one
That
thing.
is
true.
If you
100%.
work in an ER, no
Yeah,
less,
Yeah.
you're not getting on a motorcycle.
No,
Yeah.
no, I was going to say the opposite. I feel like doctors constantly
Oh,
do
yeah.
things that are terrible for their health. That's why they smoke. That's why they
They're
have
terrible
terrible
patients.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it makes total sense to me that he would have seen like just constant terrible carnage from motorcycle accidents, but be like, but I'm special.
Not me.
Not me.
I'm gonna
I'm
go
the
on my
one who's not
biker
going to.
trip to
Exactly.
I
Canada.
think McDreamy had a motorcycle, but I think Patrick Dempsey loves like fast cars. and
Fast
He
cars.
loves to drive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He loves speed.
But the big thing is the no helmet, right? Because, like, you could have a motorcycle and be really lying to yourself about, like, it'll be fine, I'm not the one. But, like, choosing not to wear a helmet is such a deliberate thing. There was this big piece that was sort of inside the Pitt that came out in the New York Times last week. And they discuss at the end of that piece that it was an open question as they were shooting that bridge scene whether or not he was going to have the helmet on. And it wasn't until the reporter, Sam Anderson, watched the pilot or the season 2 premiere that they realized like they had chosen to put the helmet off, to like leave that off. Yes.
I will say
I
also Zachary Quinto in Brilliant Minds, a show that we all, of course,
Oh my
know
God.
and watch.
He
rides
does.
a motorcycle.
And he
Yeah.
rescues Alzheimer's patient Andre DeShields on a motorcycle.
there we go.
So that he can
We're-
go to his granddaughter's wedding.
That we are already in, I guess, classic doctor territory
I mean,
here.
the only thing I know
Yes.
about that show is that Donna Murphy recorded a song for it.
But
You know
does
that
he
it takes-
wear a helmet?
He does, I think. Here is
Oh,
what
I
I will
can't
also
remember.
say. I wonder if the not wearing the helmet is like the equivalent of like how a lot of doctors will be like, I don't want CPR. I don't want, like in the
Yeah,
treatment.
yeah.
It's like his equivalent of being like, if I'm in a horrible motorcycle accident, it would be better for me to be in a really horrible motorcycle accident than to be in a
Oh.
situation of like.
I had a completely different interpretation of that, which was I was thinking about the premiere of Mad Men when she comes in with there's like a psychiatrist who comes in with she's a consultant for the ad agency, and she comes in with this paperwork and she tells Don Draper like, actually we all have a death wish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me it was totally death.
Oh
wish.
yeah, sure.
100%.
Yeah.
And so it's Robbie in this moment trying to decide like, I'm going on this sabbatical, which is the other big kind of Dr. Robbie arc that we are introduced to in this season. And it's like, why? Why is he going on this sabbatical? What does he actually want? Who is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don Draper going to Hawaii kind of
Yes.
Sure.
style.
Well, I mean, to reinforce this also, the place that he is going to visit is like a buffalo jump, is a
Yes.
place where people like literally just drove herds of buffalo
Yeah.
off a cliff for hunting purposes. So,
Alberta mention.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. They're not being super subtle about
Yeah,
the
it's
things in
you
that
know
one.
the show.
in a way that I
the show is
appreciate.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually appreciate the ways in which like the show does not do subtlety. It is
Yeah.
very much
Yes.
like
Yeah.
here's something that's going to become important later, or also. This, I mean, I do like it. Like, and we see some shades of it already being set up of the like, here's a very special episode kind of touch. You know what I
100%.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah,
100%. Okay, so we should also talk about the fact that it is the 4th of July.
Right. Very different vibes.
Very different vibes. I know from talking to R. Scott Gemmell about the finale of the first season that they were looking for a certain period of time between season 1 and season 2 so that they could have, and we will put a pin on this, we could have Langdon go away and come back and have Ben in treatment and have that be reasonable. So they were looking for a certain amount of like time between the 2 seasons. But also, I think there are all of these interesting, like, real-world reasons why you would want it to be the 4th of July. Are there, like, particularly 4th of July things that you're hoping are going to happen this season?
Rebecca and I both looking at each other like, given
All right,
what we know
no,
about
keep
what
that-
happens at the
keep-
summer in Pittsburgh. From
things.
being too online.
Non-things.
Yeah, just maybe look up like what's on the social calendar in Pittsburgh over 4th of July.
Okay, so we're hoping for this. We're hoping for the Pittsburgh things.
But Pittsburgh specific. I mean, non-Pittsburgh specific. You're assuming people are going to overindulge.
Yes.
They're going to get drunk. They're going to have fireworks that they shouldn't be operating, and that probably going to. I mean, classic emergency room situations.
Yes.
So I feel like we're going to look at a lot of summery holiday accidents that are going to come up. But also, I feel like the first season was September, right? Like it had autumnal vibes.
Yes.
And this is very much like summer, depths of summer vibes. So I'm also expecting heat-related things because you have people who are like out all day on, the peak summer holiday. So those are the emergencies that I am expecting that we will see.
I'm hoping there's some sort of hot dog eating contest choking
Yes, yes.
That would
I
be
want to see
amazing.
a hot dog removed from a cafe.
Oh yeah, not just one. I want to see like all of the
right.
hot dogs.
There's like it's like
yeah.
a clown
Sort of
stuff.
Yes, that would be amazing. Can I just say also, I have never done a hot dog eating competition, but I'm still convinced whenever I see one that I could win.
Oh,
I don't know why. I'm like, I
Wow.
could do it.
I have similar delusions
Yeah,
of grandeur
yeah.
about eating contests specifically.
Yeah, I could do it, absolutely.
Never related to you less. I have never ever looked at that and thought that would be anything other than a panic attack happening.
I'm like, I could crush that.
Oh, I'm not saying I'd enjoy it. I'm just saying.
Also, I'm
I'd
not
be
saying
good.
I would actually be good at it, but I feel in my heart that I could be.
I don't need to wear a helmet.
Exactly.
I
don't
need
need
to.
Yeah.
But I do think like in the way that the show is so much about like the healthcare system as well. Like the 4th of July is such good thematic territory for like heavy-handed but effective. What's America like? What is individualism? How much do people have a death wish in their desire to put off fireworks, ride motorcycles without helmets? How does this intersect with caring for each other and public health, and how have we lost the community, etc.? That's all just like bubbling under the surface as you have people scarring each other and that stuff.
Yeah, there's another interesting medical reason why 4th of July is a good time to start a season, which is that often new interns and residents, I think particularly interns, start on the 1st of July. And so it is a dangerous time to be in hospitals because you have all these newbies who don't necessarily know the drill yet. And we see that reflected in this first episode because we have 2 new intern characters. What do we think about their vibes?
Well, we have Joy, right?
Yeah.
And
Ogilvy.
Ogilvy.
Joy.
Yeah.
Right. And so Joy is, she's very like no nonsense.
Yes.
Seems to be interested in learning, but like clearly has all of her own stuff. And Ogilvy is like the most awkward.
Try hard,
Yes.
Insensitive.
Yeah.
Yes, give me an A, please.
He's the Christina Yang. It's like the bedside manner leaves something to be desired. Very eager to show off his knowledge.
Yes.
Yes, and I appreciate that Joy dislikes him intensely, apparently, like immediately, and comments on it.
Her job in episode 1 is basically to like roll her eyes at him. And
Yes.
say he's annoying.
Yeah. Is this, how do we feel about these characters like within the dynamic of the whole cast so far?
It's sort of interesting to like iterate on a gunner character after Santos and be like, okay, now he's a white guy, and like all of the things that you sort of put on Santos, now we're gonna figure out how the audience's biases play differently with this guy, and like to see how that plays out, especially with Santos now being more senior and like having a little bit more chill, maybe.
Right.
But we have a lot of Lisa Simpson variations in this cast already, and I mean that I think you could say just comes with the territory of like who pursues the really kind of difficult and grueling career of being a doctor. But we do get a lot of variations on these characters who are extremely like try hard and extremely ambitious and committed. So I feel like I would like to see a little more variation there. I would like to see how this character is different, from some of the other A students that we've already seen. But I'm really curious about Joy because I don't think you see a ton other than like kind of like some kind of dry, slightly inappropriate commentary in this episode. And I'm wondering where that character is going to go because I feel like we don't get a type for her yet. She doesn't emerge as a type, but we also don't get a good sense of her. So I'm intrigued about where that is going to go.
Something that I like about the way that the first episode uses the 2 newbies is it throws us in with Dr. Javadi and Huckleberry being like the experts in this micro scene. They're suddenly the ones who are like instructing and in a little position of power. And it's a very cute, like it's very cute. I guess it is because they're not dealing with a human life. It's like a dummy. But I love that they're throwing us back into the show being like, time has passed and our favorite little babies of the show have grown a bit.
Yes.
There's new babies.
How do we feel about Huckleberry / Whitaker?
His hair.
The hair has changed.
Is great. The hair sort of just implies so much else happening outside of the hospital,
right.
And like the him and Santos roommate situation, like it's wonderful sort of ambient storytelling. I like the breadcrumbs. Like one of the things I was worried about in season 2, there'd be too much like, okay, we're building out the world. I don't need to leave the hospital. I know other coworkers disagree with that, but like I like the sort of just like breadcrumbs of like, oh, there's something interesting going on. Oh, they've developed this, like learning that as we go.
Yeah, it's such a canny way to signal growth. And we also get it in the scene where Whitaker, they have a patient who has passed away. And so he is explaining what you do when you have a patient who is what the traditions in this space are. And I do think it's also, you're sort of watching him decide, like, am I going to be a Dr. Robbie? Am I going to be like, whose footsteps am I going to be following? I don't know what the hair suggests about his own internal direction for who, or is he more of a Langdon, more of a hair forward figure, I think. But we should talk about Langdon too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we see him coming back. He is first sitting in the patient side waiting room, and they're calling his name, and it almost seems like he is being called forward as a patient. And then we discover that actually he's on shift. How are you feeling about like what this season needs to do to rehabilitate him? Does it need to do things to rehabilitate him? How do we feel about the like messaging of opioid addiction that's happening?
Rebecca, I'm curious.
The one that's like a difficult, serious topic you come to me for. Yeah, I like that we see him introduced there, like he's in disguise in his penguin's hat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, episode 1 sort of really like some of these characters we haven't even got to them yet in the first episode. Langdon, they cover a ton of ground in episode 1, and they have him making amends with and confessing to the patient from last season who he had been stealing from. So yeah, as of now, he's showing this very, sober growth.
Sober in both meaning of the word.
Yes, and penitence. And we also see Dr. Robbie has not forgiven him, and how he's going to navigate that over the course of the day that is season 2 of The Pitt.
Yeah. But it is also funny, like, there are all of these people who he just started working with.
Yeah.
For a single day.
Right. I was complaining about this to you earlier, which is that he walks in and he's like, oh, like, Dr. whatever, hi. And I'm like, you had met for one day, which was a very distracting and eventful day, like 8 months ago. It's strange that you have the perfect name recall. I think Mel would be able to have perfect name recall, but from Langdon, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was interested in how many of the characters are written as taking the idea of addiction as an illness that, is something that someone can like treat and kind of be in recovery from and grapple with. And to have most of the rejection of that come from one character, the main character, our guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was interesting to me. I appreciated it, even if I didn't buy it, because I think that like most people do have like a really complicated reaction
100%.
to it, where you're like, you understand it as like an illness, and yet you also take it very personally, and you take behavior that has been born out of that very personally. So it surprised me the degree to which everyone has welcomed him back, like so much except for Robbie. But I'm curious about how that's going to unfurl.
Yeah, there's
I
also
think like the lingering questions of like how he'll be on the job and in the case, like in a case, in a tense situation, like obviously have to be tried, and it's sort of like it's foregrounding a lot of the like he has to do the right steps, and we know he's doing that, and then you're like when the tension arrives, how is that going to play out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the fact that he's this handsome, professional white man addict who gets to be brought back into the fold in a certain kind of way versus his patient, who is an addict, who is, of course, like very like seen as socially and culturally maligned, which I think also ties into one of the things that you brought up, which is one of the best things to me about the Pit, which is actually its living out nature, the way that it loves to tackle all the issues. All of the issues come through the ER.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
yeah.
the 4th of July.
Yes.
Yes, of course. We didn't talk about there is also a new boss lady.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, Dr. Baran al-Hashimi, Dr. Al.
Dr. Al.
Who is going to take over for Dr. Robbie while Dr. Robbie is off chasing spiritual fulfillments and motorcycle accidents.
Yes. And she is replacing, we're now no longer seeing Dr. Collins, who is played by Tracy Feature, who in a somewhat notorious way exited season 1. And I was really curious if there was going to be like, and by the way, Dr. Collins is off shift today, but there has not been any sort of signaling.
Not yet. Yeah.
But I think the show knows that by the nature of this show being like one day in the ER, like they don't even have to.
Yeah, it's very.
And they're going to trust, hopefully they're going to trust the audience to get it.
Do we like Dr. Al? What do we think about Dr. Al?
It's so early. I don't know, like to have Dr. Al be also like the technology pusher, the AI pusher is like not my favorite thing because I feel like you've saddled that character with like something that has so much baggage already. So I think that's like it was a tough entrance to come in and be like, I'm the one who's going to clean things up and make things more efficient with AI, which everyone loves and trusts. I mean, like that's a really tough way to introduce a character. Though, you know, we've got hours to learn about this person. So
it was so much baggage immediately there. I
Yes.
was like, well, there has to be a flip coming. There has to be something. But then you sort of watch it and you're like, well, this is a lot of her and Robbie butting heads about like being by the book or not. And you're like, oh boy, as the audience, I feel like I am being told to side with one guy quite a lot.
Yes.
And
Also, and he keeps being proven right. You know, like it's always like when he's like, here is my unconventional suggestion. It works out. So
He flipped a lung.
he does flip like, oh yeah.
Oh my
I didn't
God.
know you could do that.
I don't think
didn't
you
know.
should.
Yeah, it didn't look good. I don't do that to me. If anyone's listening, don't flip my lung.
do it all to me. I am so happy to be an organ donor. I just would like, you know, use my body for whatever you
Wow.
need in the ER. Like, try some stuff out.
Yeah, even if they're going to like, they'll be like, you're going to be used to what is it, the fat thing?
I don't know. Medically, I'm such
Yeah.
a bottom. Like, just do whatever you want to me.
I'm like, upper blef?
No, you know where they're like they take your fat and then they use it to give someone a BBL. Yeah.
Right.
God.
Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah.
the doctors
Genre.
are like, let's try something, I'm like, yeah, sure.
Emergency ER BBL.
That's
It's
that's the new frontier for maybe that's season 3.
Yeah. There is also one other new character who feels quite like living out, or at least in the way like we're going to be heading in that direction. But she is a brand new, adorable baby nurse. Her name is Emma. And we immediately see that she's being taken under Nurse Dana's wing. And I was really curious about, first of all, the sort of unhoused person plotline that they give them in this episode and sort of what this show is doing with that. But then also the way that it feels like Nurse Dana is setting up a, like, you have to watch out for yourself. I got punched, but I'm not going to say that, but I totally did, and it was really upsetting. And it's like a lot of newbie energy. Is it too much newbie energy?
It's like your classic audience surrogate character, right? Like the person who comes in so that someone can be like, here's how it works in the ER, which is also, by the way, for you to pay attention to, viewer. Except we are in season 2, so we've already presumably we're familiar with that. But yeah, I was more interested. I mean, that character we've got nothing except that she is like this adorable baby.
And she's from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
That's true.
Excuse me.
Almost in Canada.
Almost
Lots of
in
bugs.
Canada. I'll do it's right here.
But yeah. But I feel like, right now, so far, she has mostly existed as a foil for Dana and a way to for Dana to talk indirectly about the trauma, you know, like, because there was that question of like, is she going to come back at the end of the first season? So it is the way to get at yes, and here is her talking about some of the baggage she has brought with her.
Yeah.
I'm also curious, like, newbie nurse versus newbie doctor. Like, what's that difference going to be? I also just love the gesture where Dana is taking all the stuff that she's carrying around away from her. Where she's like, you don't need all of this. Like, she's too prepared. It's just, like, a lovely little bit of, like, prop work and, like, blocking. So I'm, like, curious to see that stuff play out, and if they're going to draw a contrast, if they're going to, like, talk about those differences and dynamics and how that works. But it is sort of like, here's another pawn on the table. Like,
Yeah.
I also love the opening shot of like Dana, like her introduction to the season, walking in with the sunglasses and like spitting her gum into a bush. It's just great. So I do think it's fun to give her someone to be Mama Bear too.
Yeah, it's really, I won an Emmy, bitch. Like, let's go.
Right. Well, and also like the dynamics between the idea of the nurses as having much more, we have to look out for each other versus the medical students being like, we are all in competition for these opportunities is like very starkly felt already.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's makes sense to me. I think we should also do a rundown of the patients.
Okay.
One of my favorite things about this show from the first season was that you could not tell who was going to be a long arc patient. We are going to see this person many times, and who was like, you see them, we're going to fix them, and maybe they're going to show up in like one scene of the next episode, and then they're done. So we have the unhoused person, the guy who I mentioned before. We have a guy who has come in with like weird mood shifts.
Yes. And a broken arm.
Yes.
Yes, and they're like, oh man, he seems erratic and strange. I wonder if that is going to have any bearing on the future. There is also a little girl who clearly we are being meant to believe is maybe being abused, but they're not quite sure. And there is an elderly patient. There is also Louis, who clearly is a frequent flyer.
Has alcohol issues and
yeah. Okay, who among these? And there's the baby.
Oh,
right.
Of course,
the baby.
And the baby.
There's also. I feel like this was just someone in passing where I was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to become a thing. Like at the very top, you see someone, the lady with the dog and her husband. Or husband, I think, right? Or like father
when
or
she
something.
Has the bags of
Oh, yes.
And so for one, you get side-eyed because she has a little dog, which as a little dog owner, I appreciate always. We should not be trusted, especially when we take our dogs everywhere.
Yeah.
But also, she just pulls out like all the supplements and organics and like homeopathic and all of that. And I do love how much the show hates wellnessy stuff.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so great.
Yes. So I was curious if that's going to become more of a thing or if that was just a passing slight to all wellnessy stuff, which I love.
Yeah. If that never comes back, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, I am too. Like, I'm just like, just throw it in
pull
the
the
background.
bags out.
Yes, throw it in the background. I want that.
Yeah.
I feel like Louis is obviously going to become an ongoing, like, several episode appearances, right? Like, and the unhoused person.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we're going to need at least enough more of brain guy.
Yeah, I mean, mood swings, love, just
Yeah.
generally, because there's always like some sort of like physiological explanation for
Yeah,
it on a
100%.
medical
Is it
show.
syphilis?
And I love learning the ways
the
in which
mystery.
Is it mercury?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the baby, of course.
Yeah.
We do not in this episode yet have any sense if there will be some kind of like larger accruing kind of like medical crisis. But like the baby is obviously going to be a mystery running across like multiple episodes.
Yeah.
This baby who has been abandoned in, I think, the bathroom, was it, or something?
Bathroom of the waiting
Yes,
room.
I do love also that they're like, has anyone lost a baby? Like into the and no one reacts.
No,
like the
no.
yes.
Yeah.
So mystery baby.
And
I mean, no one knows.
It's set in the 4th of July, but we're watching this in early January, and like having watched it over Christmas, like very Christian.
Well, I was
Weird
thinking
way.
also about the child abuse maybe kid and the baby and all of the newbies together.
Yes.
And it just felt to me like this episode was setting up a lot of like, here's new, young, vulnerable energy. Here is life continuing. And then on the other hand, you've got Robbie without a helmet on.
Yes.
And you have this elderly patient who they feel like probably shouldn't even be resuscitated. And so it's setting up these like, and I think obvious, but also pleasantly obvious,
Yes.
like parallels.
Life,
where,
death, sunrise, sunset.
yes. Look, I eat that up.
Yeah.
Give it
yeah.
to me.
Yeah, this is not a subtle show, as previously established.
Literally
And I
sunrise,
feel like
beginning of the shift, sunset.
Yeah, 7
it's a
a.m. to
beautiful,
10 p.m.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious what we think about so far our returning beloved characters. Like, how are we feeling about their reintroductions? In particular, Mel King, fan favorite character,
Yeah.
played by Taylor Dearden. Did we feel like the writers of the show were aware of how much people liked this character
100%.
and leaned into it?
Yes.
They know that she's small bean.
How do we feel about that, though?
She gives like a charming performance, like regardless, and I don't think there's anything, at least not yet, that's leaning too heavy on it all that they weren't already. They were leaning so heavy on her whole thing, like in season 1 from the get-go. So it's not like they can jump a shark with her, because I think like the season 1, what is it? She's like, what does she like sing to herself as an empowerment song in season 1? She has so much, they go so heavy with the quirks.
They do.
From the jump. And within the tone of the show, which, as we've said, like it doesn't have like the lightest surgical touch. Like we accept and embrace that, and this is an actress who can pull it off. So as of yet, I don't mind. Like Huckleberry's another, right, where he is. I mean, all of the young charges of last season have been embraced by the internet in their own way.
Yeah.
So we'll see, how much they play in with each one.
I feel like Mel is the character I most worry about as far as going too far into consciousness of how popular she is.
Yes.
And because there is, I think, this risk of turning her into sort of a mascot-y kind of like, I trust this show. They are not going to like Big Bang Theory Sheldon her,
Yeah.
But if it veers too close to like she's a set of quirks and not a human person, this is kind of the thing that I would be anxious about.
Yeah.
I'm curious about her. One of the things that she talks about in this episode, the malpractice suit that she's going to have to deal with later.
I mean, I think it's because there's also like a lot of business that that she and Langdon have to like work through. But I think the malpractice thing is at least promising in that it's like, oh, here's a separate thing that she is going to have to confront and work through, and will sort of be beyond just the humor and quirkiness and sort of root for her thing. I don't know how it will be complicated yet or everything, but like that seems like an interesting way, because a lot of times you're like, oh, you don't want the characters to repeat there's a lot of pleasure to see the characters be the people you know them as, but you don't want them to repeat the same arcs, and sort of how do you introduce what their next development is.
Yeah. I mean, if she is ever in danger of developing a catchphrase, we will know that she's in trouble. But yeah, I mean, that is the part I'm most interested to see, which is like she has been like a very kind of like unconventionally competent doctor, and to see her be put in a situation that she feels very uncomfortable in, not because she did anything wrong necessarily, but because the prospect of a deposition and the kind of like the prospect, even if everyone's like this happens to everyone, is like stressful and alarming.
And I feel like there's like a daredevil thrill to the show being like, we could just be every other medical drama, but we're just like a few ticks more interesting, naturalistic, challenging, but we could be, and maybe we will just become that, and like maybe it'll all fall apart and this will be unbearable and corny. But we're not quite doing that, but we're really getting close, maybe, and like that is kind of fun to watch.
100%. It is a dangerous flirtation.
It
are.
is. They're driving a motorcycle without as TV writers.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. There's also Dr. McKay, who is not sporting an ankle monitor this season. that was exciting for me as a person who does not like repetitive sounds. I did not enjoy looking forward to this ankle monitor just going off again. On the other hand, we did get the repetitive sound of Dr. Mohan's phone ringing over and over. What's going on?
Elegant segue.
Yes.
Or just somebody overly fixated on repetitive sounds. It was this. This was one of the moments when I was like, is this naturalistic or is this weirdly too far? It's this scene where her phone keeps going off during this really upsetting, the lung flip trauma, as I think it should always be known. And she literally goes like, Siri, go on silent. And I was like, is that happen? Would they just all ignore this? I don't know.
I think it's very unlike her
Yeah.
to have the phone on and on ring, because her whole characterization in season 1 is like, you are too attentive to your patient.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Like, she eventually picks up the phone and she's talking to a family member, but we don't know.
We don't really know
what's
what
going on there. But it has to be serious for her to have her ringer on.
Yes, right. I mean,
Does Siri turn off ringer work? Like, I just like refuse to have Siri
don't
on
have
my
Siri
phone.
on my phone,
like,
so I
it's
don't
new to
know.
me,
Not
so I
as
just like
positive.
Yeah.
am unfamiliar with.
We're anti-AI. We're anti-Siri.
we're like Dr. Robbie.
Yeah. We're Dr. Robbie. Yeah, we are all going on sabbatical to Alberta.
Yeah. So we have her. We have Dr. Mel. We have Langdon. We talked about Al Hashimi.
Dr. Santos.
We talked about Santos.
Yeah. Santos and Whitaker, roommates. Yes.
Maybe she gave him the haircut.
Or the lack of haircut.
Or the lack of haircut.
Yeah. Santos so far kind of doing her same thing.
Yeah.
Charging forward, a little abrasive.
We see her a little bit in that child abuse story.
Yes.
Doing again the thing where it's like, I think I know what is happening here. How far am I allowed to push this? Which is the arc that we saw from her in the first season. But she's clearly being deliberately more careful. Like, I am checking in with the social worker. I am following the rules of how to actually deal with this. But it is like she is struggling with wanting to just be like, stop hitting your kid, you know.
Yeah.
And that she's not allowed.
And still kind of bullying affectionately, though that's not always received that way, her coworkers. Which I appreciate. It's hard to tell. The different ones seem to receive that in different ways. Some seem to see it as affectionate, and some seem to still see it as as just bullying, as harassment. Yeah.
Seeing her with like newbies like below her, where it's not like, here are people that are sort of on my tier that I'm bullying, but here are people that I'm also supposed to be like helping teach and be responsible for that I might be bullying. Is an interesting possible lane for her to have to deal with.
Yeah. It feels so much, I'm not sure if this is just me expecting a twist, but it feels so much more likely that she forgives Langdon than Dr. Robbie forgives Langdon, to me. Am I crazy, or is that just like, because she was so, it was the thing where it was like this bridge too far for her. But the way that they're setting up Dr. Robbie in this first episode,
that feels like just a much like heavier, bolder to move narratively. Dr. Robbie forgiving Langdon, that like feels like it takes a lot of force to like, what metaphor am I in? Get up the hill, Sisyphus-wise. I don't know. Please stop this metaphor.
No.
But like, that feels like that to me just feels like much weightier. Like Santos, I think, and him, on a tough case, got to work it out. She's so like medical minded in that way about addiction. I can see her processing it much more, sort of metabolizing it more effectively.
But also she is the one who has to deal with maybe a sense of betraying a colleague, even if she felt justified.
There is this sort of like equilibrium of, she's the one who exposed him, brought it to the surface, was like, so it's sort of, I could see her being like, okay, I've done that, and now it's on me to forgive, because you left and you did the work, and you're back.
And now you're back. Yeah.
So the thing that I was left with in this episode at the very end is this moment where there's this baby, and then we see our new doctor, Dr. Al, look at this baby. And I was like, what is it going to mean? And I was trying to think of all the possibilities of like what this could possibly be trying to suggest to me.
I think she looks at a piece of paper also,
Yes,
and
yes,
then
yeah.
and then has this like 1,000-yard stare for a second of
What
like,
is happening?
and someone's like, "Did I miss something?" What? Yeah, and then that is our cliffhanger. And there are like many of these episodes like in the show end on a kind of cliffhanger,
Yeah.
and sometimes then they're like, "Just kidding, that wasn't a cliffhanger." In the next episode, yeah, and this definitely ends like on a tone of dun dun dun.
Done. Right.
Yeah, this is like setting up an arc.
Yes.
Mhm.
But it's like, did her baby die?
Yeah,
Mm.
and there's a lot of like potential past
Right.
trauma involving baby.
Right.
that she is
Was
She
weighted with.
once a babe?
She and this baby have beef.
I like that. Yeah, she's like, "This baby betrayed me once."
It's like an I think you should leave style. Like
What a fun crossover that would
she's
be.
getting a note. This is the baby.
And everyone's like, "Boo! That's the worst baby. I hate that baby." Yeah.
Oh my
No,
god.
but they
But
all
I
love
mean,
the
it's-
baby.
They do.
They
I mean, the
do.
baby
Love
is
the
also a very
baby.
charming baby.
I love that Dr.
I-
Robbie's
you
like,
sort of-
this is a good
yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
It is a little your like new woman doctor
Right.
baby confrontation.
Right.
I did sort of tense up in terms of like narratively what
Yeah.
that
Right.
might be
Especially
coming for
because
her.
season 1 had
Yes.
with the now gone doctor whose name I'm forgetting.
Dr. Collins.
Dr. Collins was dealing with, the pregnancy
Fertility,
and maternity
yes,
and
Yes.
fertility.
Yes.
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 So-
But I was also like, was she abandoned as a child? Was she adopted? I'm it is yet another way where the show is like, we're going to tell you about these doctors, but only in little indirect pieces, and you're going to have to hope the breadcrumbs come soon. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really glad the show is back.
Me too.
It's just a nice comfort that it's gonna come in
I
week
know.
by week
Yes,
too.
yes.
Where I'm just like, and then I'll learn
get
more
to-
about the
Until
baby.
10 p.m. April.
Think of all the dribs and drabs of Santos Whitaker lore that I will piece together.
Yeah. Oh, man.